Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to be talking about the Switch 2 that just happened. The announcement just happened, the direct just ended, and their website is up. So we can look at all the specs on their website and the price, which is pretty integral to this as well. So it is coming June 5th, which is pretty soon. It's only in 2 months, which is actually pretty insane that it's coming this quickly. I didn't think it was going to be this fast from when the direct actually happened. I'm quite surprised, honestly. I thought it was going to be like later this year in like the winter or like the fall of this year. Not a summer release. I'm very surprised about the summer release. I'd like to remind everyone, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, I'll be doing a Q&A video. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to check out something else I do a podcast called Two Buds of Wanda Podcast. It'll be linked in the description, so please go ahead and check that out. So the next evolution of the Nintendo Switch is here. Bring your games to life with a larger 1080p screen, or connect to the TV and play up to 4K resolution. With a asterisk of TV and game must be compatible with 4K. Frame rates are capped at 60 FPS for 4K output. Okay, cool. I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, that's pretty standard. Support for HDR and VRR, and frame rates up to 120 FPS, that you enjoy vivid color, clarity, and smooth gameplay. I mean, yeah, that sounds really good, really good. The snap the new Joy-Cons to controllers into place with magnetic connectors. Each controller can even be used as a mouse in compatible games. I've seen the mouse in a couple things. During the direct, they did a thing with Civilization 7 using the mouse as well, which is pretty cool. And then experience new exclusive games like the Mario Kart World, only on Switch 2, and enjoy compatible games from your Nintendo Switch library. And then with this asterisk, some Nintendo Switch games may not be supported or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch here. Click here for more information. So this is the more information, important information, compatibility with Nintendo Switch games. So over 15,000 games are already compatible. Most of it is blue. So game is playable with certain parts of the game. See below for list. Okay. So most of it works pretty well. It looks like the Nintendo games, for the most part, are just compatibility with no issue. And then there's some that just aren't compatible. And for the partner games, it's mostly just blue. So that's good. Which is interesting, actually. There is no red on the partner games, which means that all of them are compatible, at least compatibly, but some have issues, interestingly. Games that cannot be played on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Lab Toy-Con 04 VR Kit. Okay, I didn't even know that thing existed. Of course, you can't play that. Games with compatible issues on this Nintendo Switch. Games will start up issues on Nintendo Switch 2. PDF 2.3 megabytes. Okay. So these games require the Switch 1 Joy-Cons, which makes sense because the Joy-Cons were very integral. So these ones, you must use the Nintendo Switch 1's Joy-Cons, which makes sense because they were like, I mean, 1-2 Switch and Ring Fit Adventure are kind of like big, like they really were tapping into the technology of the controllers. Same with Nintendo Switch Sports. I'm surprised WarioWare is only compatible with the first Joy-Cons and then Nintendo Lab stuff. Okay. Right, that's like the cardboard stuff. Right. So these games had issues with startup. Another Crab's Treasure. That's a big one. I know that one. An issue is being investigated. A bunch of other games. Batman: The Enemy Within. Dead by Daylight. Doom. Ender Mongolia. I've heard actually a lot of stuff about that game. Everspace. Final Fantasy. Like the first one? Okay. Fortnite. A Nintendo Switch 2 version is planned. Okay, so they're releasing a new version for Switch 2. That makes sense. Gang Beast, okay. Kill la Kill, okay. So all these Little Nightmares, the Complete Edition, these are all issues on startup, so that means they probably don't even work. NBA 2K18 and NBA 2K 2025. Interestingly, I wonder why specifically these two NBA games. Interesting. Pizza Tower, issues being investigated. It looks like all these are being investigated, which is good. Rocket League. South Park: The Fractured But Whole, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Star Wars Dark Force Remastered, the Jackbox games, Warframe, oh gosh, okay, Wolfenstein 2, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that's hilarious, World of Tanks. Unfortunately, I cannot read the Japanese titles. So honestly, not as many games as I thought there would be. Games that are playable but have some in-game compatibility issues. Okay, this is not nearly as long a list too. Okay, so the big Alan Wake, Alien Isolation, Okay. Factorio Fall Guys. Okay. Hitman 3. Hot Wheels Unleashed. That's actually a pretty good game. Just Dance 2019. I'm surprised that one has compatibility issues during gameplay. The Mega Man Legacy Collection. Wonder why that has problems. Saints Row the 4th Reelected. I mean, that's... You probably don't want to play that game anyway. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That's interesting. I wonder why that game has compatibility issues. Wow, okay, that's not that many, honestly. Honestly, like the big ones for, in my opinion, is Alan Wake Remastered. Alien Isolation is a pretty big deal. I'm just thinking about the Switch audience. I think the Switch audience would like Factorio as well. Fall Guys is a fun game. I think they'd really enjoy that too. Mega Man Legacy Collection. I wonder what's wrong with that one. I wonder what happened with that, because that's a pretty, like, it's the old school Mega Man games. I wonder why that is having problems. So overall, not that bad, honestly. Like, not that bad in terms of compatibility. And we'll be able to play these games 1080p at least with the screen, or up to 4K. I'm not huge on the 4K stuff, so I'll probably be sticking to 1080p if I do get this. I mean, I will probably get it eventually, but I'm not a huge 4K person, honestly. I think 1080p has been fine, and I prefer 1080p but I also prefer higher performance when it comes to video games a lot. Yeah, so this is the Mario Kart world, which does look really interesting from the gameplay, and they showed a lot of gameplay from it. And I mean, it's Mario Kart, but with some good extra additions. It being like an open world as well, and continuing the races being bigger, 24-player races as well. It's pretty cool, honestly. The new this game chat thing is so Nintendo, because like these things have existed for a long time, but I guess technically they've never been embedded into the console before. So I mean, honestly, for the people who use this, for the families that probably use this and stuff like that, this is going to be great. For everyone else, I'm never going to touch this. I'm never going to use the game chat for Nintendo Switch. Never. It's cool. The webcam is interesting, though it looks like it's a webcam from like 2004. Like, we've had stuff like this since like the early 2000s. One thing during the direct itself, it's funny how they always have to mention the new C button, because they have to have, like, it's the new thing, so they're constantly saying, oh, all the new controllers have the C button for the chat button. Honestly, my biggest problem with this is that if I'm playing a game, I don't want this. Like, if I want voice chat, I don't want my game to be smaller. I wonder if there is a way to turn all the screens off, because like that sounds really annoying. Like, if I was using this, I don't want to see other people's viewpoint. I want to see my viewpoint in Mario Kart. Like, I don't know, maybe, I mean, obviously this project isn't for me, so hopefully they know their target audience for this. It's still cool that they're doing it though. Yeah, and it's the bigger screen, same thickness too. I'm actually surprised that they got that. They're able to do that. The 7.9-inch screen with the same thickness, and the HDR and VRR is really nice. And the 120 FPS is great too. Incompatible games. So I'm assuming most games are going for 60 though, so that's fine too. The new dock looks really good. It being obviously the bigger screen for the TV, but also it should say the better stand is really good too. Wait, does it not say? It showed off a fan. Like, the dock actually has components in it now, so it has a fan to cool the Switch down so it doesn't overheat. Because one of the biggest problems with the Switch 1 playing docked mode is that the Switch get really hot, and then it would cause the game to perform worse because the Switch was overheating basically. So they have a built-in fan now that cools it. The new stand is way better, but they've had a stand like this for like the OLED switches as well, which is good. This is the better fan. The Joy-Con 2 controllers being the magnetic ones. My only slight worry for that is if the magnetic, like, do magnetic stuff like deteriorate? I assume everything deteriorates eventually. So, like, you can't really replace that. But I mean, I trust Nintendo enough to make it so it's actually durable. So that's good. Is it going to show off the mouse stuff is interesting. Very interesting. It showed off, like, one of the games that they demonstrated this on during the Nintendo Direct was Civilization 7, which is cool. That, like, games like that really benefit from having a mouse. So that's really cool to have. The only problem I have with that is a lot of people have these consoles in a living room and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you see the table here, but like, not everyone's going to have this table. So like, you kind of have to change the setup if you want to use the mouse. The C button, it's great. I don't like this setup. I guess it's kind of cool, but like I said, this is not for me. I will not be getting this. These things are really good. The performance, powerful processing, and immersive graphics. This is really nice. It being faster. The big thing though is the sound is nice. Nintendo consoles haven't been really known. Like the Switch One's speakers weren't very good, and they do say it's better. I don't think people are going to be playing, like, I'm not criticizing them for having bad speakers in the console, but it's not a big deal. I don't think. Their internal storage, though, is huge. 256 gigabytes is so much better than the first Switch. And the only problem I see this is during the Direct, they said only micro SD cards are going to work now. Or sorry, it's the better version of micro SD cards. I can't remember what their name is now. It's the faster versions of micro SD cards. So standard micro SD cards don't work anymore for the Switch 2. And I feel like the general consumer might not understand that, but it's kind of like a necessary hurdle that they have to jump, because like in order to have things load faster and all the faster speeds, you need to stop using the standard stuff for the micro SD cards. So it kind of makes sense that they're moving on. It sucks for the regular consumer, though. Yeah, here it is, micro SD cards. A new standard for micro SD, the micro SD Express, right. This kind of memory is needed for faster. So yeah, so Nintendo Switch 2 is only compatible with the micro SD Express cards. Express cards. That's what the term was. Yeah, so that is unfortunate. So standard micro SD cards won't work for the Switch 2, but at least the Switch itself has 256 gigabytes, which is honestly probably one of the reasons why they did this. Obviously, you want the bigger storage in general anyway, but now the standard consumer doesn't have to deal with the micro SD cards for a while. So that's really good, and you get over that hurdle of it not having to worry about it. And this is also pretty big too, in addition to the Nintendo Switch 2 games. Nintendo Switch 2 completely compatible with Nintendo Switch games. Obviously, we looked at the ones that weren't, but from what we can see, the majority of them do work. And they also did the virtual card system and the other, which I'm surprised it doesn't show here in this website. You can play games with, like, they're showing it kind of here, but you can play multiplayer games with your Switch 2 and Switch 1 with one copy. So you can play offline multiplayer with other people if you have multiple systems, which is really nice. And if you have this, and you can do the virtual card system now too. So a lot of things. The biggest problem, in my opinion, with the Switch is the price. We're going to go over here to the price, because for me in Canada, the regular system is $629.99. So $630, which is a lot. It's kind of crazy how expensive this is now. And it's $200 more than the Switch 1 when it was launched. So it really sucks that it's this expensive. And while it doesn't say here, digital games are also going to be $80. So games are now $80 for the Switch 2 as well with the digital games, which is just, I don't know. I don't see a reason why. The bundle at least is, comes with the download of the game and all that type of stuff, but this is $700, so that's even crazier. So yeah, the price is the biggest problem in my opinion, because it's a lot of money, and at least you have the compatibility things, so you don't have to worry about too much about new launches, but it's just one of those things where it's getting really expensive to buy this stuff, and this stuff isn't, for a lot of people, this is extra. So I fear that this is going to affect it in a lot of ways, so people aren't going to buy it, because while I'm not a huge Nintendo fanboy, I still want people to enjoy video games, and this is not the way you do it. You don't increase the price by $200 for more people to enjoy video games, I understand inflation and all that type of stuff, but I don't know, it feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. And also digital games being more expensive. I hate the digital games. Like you at least have the excuse of physical games being $80 because of, the production costs, even though most games just give you a code nowadays, which is stupid. So like digital games being more expensive makes literally zero sense. The only reason is for more money, which I can understand a little bit if you weren't firing people constantly. Nintendo is slightly better at this, but all the rest of the gaming industry doesn't make sense, because all it is putting money into shareholders at this point. So if the devs aren't even getting paid more, then why are we paying you guys more other than to just put money into the CEOs and shareholders? It's stupid. So overall, I was really happy about the Switch 2 announcement. I like the specs. I think it looks good. And honestly, I'm super excited for it in general. We're going to be talking about the games in another video because there's just so much to talk about. And so we'll be talking about the games slowly but surely throughout the time of seeing the new games. And to be fair, some of them were just slight trailers anyway, so we don't really know about a lot of the games. So we'll be continuing looking at the Switch 2 lineup, and it's all the games coming to it. Some of the ones that the quick quickly mentioned is Silksong actually was there and was confirmed 2025. The new From Software game, Blood something, was pretty interesting, though it's a PvPvE game. It's a multiplayer game, so it's not a single player game, which is interesting. And some of the big ones like Metroid Prime 4 was also there. The new Donkey Kong game looks interesting. The new Kirby game looks interesting. And of course, Mario Kart World looks also very interesting. So we'll be talking about those in other videos. Thank you everyone for watching today's video about the Nintendo Switch 2. Comment down below what you guys think about this. If you agree with me about you're excited about the Switch 2 itself, but the pricing is it's just too much for something like this. And I don't know. I don't know how we stop this other than just not buying it. So who knows? Please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it if you would come over here and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, I'll be doing a Q&A video. If you're interested in that, please subscribe. If you'd like to check me out on other places, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky if you want to check me out on any of those social media platforms. Thank you everyone for watching today's video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.